Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astottara Sata Shishimat A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Samstapaka Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astottara Sata Shishimat Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sakha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Giriraj Govardhan Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Jamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Gaur Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Akashe Povaksha Shilatankana Kalaye Itone Simo Paratone Simo Yato Yato Yamitato Nisimo Mahenisimo Hidayenisimo Nara Singamadem Saranam Prapade Navakala Kamalavare Nakamadhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipo Tano Bringa Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadishare Jai Jagadishare Jai Jagadishare Esavagrita Narar Rupa Jai Jagadishare Jai Jagadishare Jai Jagadishare Jagadishare Jaya Keshavadrita Nara Hare Rupa Jai Jagadishare Jai Jagadishare Jai Jagadishare Keshavadrita Nara Jaya Neshingadev, 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 Jaya Neshingadev. Jaya Narahari, Narari, Narari, Jaya Narari. Jaya Pralat Maharaj, Pralat Maharaj, Pralat Maharaj, Jaya Pralat Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Nishingadev Bhagavan ki Jai, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to today's Sunday Love Feast program. Our speaker for today, who we are very honored to have, is His Grace Kshudi Prabhu. Prabhu is from the United States of America, and he joined ISKCON on January 5th, 1970 at Laguna Beach in California. He was initiated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in Mumbai at the Cross Maidan Festival on March 27th, 1971. Prabhu was the first devotee to arrive in South Africa, and in September of 1972, he began the Krishna consciousness movement here in our country. Prabhu stayed here alone for 6 months, and in that time, he hid from the apartheid government in order to establish Krishna consciousness. Prabhu now lives in India, in Vrindavan, and he travels the world preaching Krishna consciousness. Prabhu's topic for today, and a very apt topic, is New Year's inspiration. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I was something then, I'm not now, and that's a child. So forgive me if my brain isn't a little bit there. If I have to take a break in the middle of the class, we'll have a quick kirtan and come back to it. Om Jnana Timiranyasa Gina Gina Salakaya Chaksurin Milatanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubastam Stapitam Yena Putale Swayam Rupakadamayam Tadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavam Sta Shri Rupam Jai Shri Prabhupada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutali Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nirvisesha Shunyavati Pastacha Desatarni. So we're talking about the New Year's inspiration. Of course, we can start the day or the year over at any time, but it's always good to see what Krishna is presenting with us and how we can use this as an opportunity to surrender to Krishna and to grow in Krishna consciousness. Bhakti Chaitanya Swami was talking that this morning when he was saying, even though we say that Krishna relieves us of all sinful activities, sometimes things come that appear as our past sinful activities. But Krishna is using these things as an impetus for us to learn a lesson and surrender to Him. So since I came to South Africa, I think I did too much traveling. My devotee astrologer said I shouldn't do as much traveling this year, but I went from Vrindavan to America for medical treatment, and then I came right away back to here, to Johannesburg, and then to Cape Town, and then to here. So the traveling has kind of run me down, and I have a few issues. So, as far as using these things as an impetus for the new year, we think, how can I grow in the new year? What can I do more of? First, we start by thinking, let me maintain what I'm already doing. If we need to maintain the amount of rounds we're doing on beads. Who here chants on beads? Raise your hand. Who doesn't chant on beads? No one raised their hand. Okay, one person. But we can do chanting on beads. We can come to the temple a certain number of times, and we can try to increase that. But the main thing is that we try to maintain what we have. Especially if we're devotees and we took initiation, we've already made our vows and our completions and our commitments to Srila Prabhupada and to our present spiritual masters. So mainly what we need to do is continue with those. So Krishna provides the different kind of inspiration for us. And we think in the new year that we can write down the things that we're going to do. It's saying to have a strategic plan, that we must plan. It's hard to get somewhere if you don't know where you're going, isn't it? It says, oh, I haven't reached my destination. Why? Well, I don't know where I'm going. So we have to remember that the destination is to go back to Krishna and to surrender to Him and to follow the instructions of through the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam as to how we can progress in this way. So we'll read a verse that can help us understand the kind of consciousness that we need to develop in the new year in just a minute. But we make plans that how many rounds we're going to do, how many times we'll come to the temple, what things we're not going to do. Sometimes it's good to reaffirm them even if we haven't done them in a long time. And if we've made a mistake, in bhakti, we don't worry, we just pick ourselves up and go from where we don't have to do some special atonement or Christians do like flogging, some of them, they flog themselves. I don't think many do that anymore. But we don't do any special atonement. We just keep ourselves engaged or by a human being or a beast, that I don't die in the air and on the land or in the sky, that I don't die inside or outside. And so he thought he had it all covered. So Lord, and not a man or a beast. So Lord Nrsingadev came out, and not by anything living or dead. That covers it. So Lord Nrsingadev came out, and he wasn't a man or a beast. He was half lion and half man. That's why he's called Nar Nrsinga, man and lion. You don't see that too often, do you? No. And he took him, it was at dusk, so it's neither day nor night, and he took him in the doorway, so it wasn't exactly inside or outside, and he killed him with his nails, because nails are not exactly alive, because they can't feel anything, but they're not dead because they actually grow. So all of those conditions couldn't stop him. And when the Lord appeared as Nrsingadev, he was angry because his devotee was being mistreated, and nobody could go before him except Prahlad Maharaj. So he asked Prahlad Maharaj, what kind of benediction you want? He says, well, I don't want any benediction. And you think he would be angry at his father, but he said, I would like my father to be saved. And Lord Nrsingadev says, he's already saved because you are a devotee and because I have killed him. That's one thing. God gives liberation to the people he kills. We can't do that. We can't think that way. There were some people that went a little crazy in Christianity because they heard that if small children die, they go straight to heaven. So then you kill the children because they go to heaven. Is that a good idea? No. Do they kill children? Sometimes they do this early on, don't they? They kill them even before they're born. Then maybe they go to heaven? Not sure. Maybe they have to be born first. But I don't think we should kill them thinking that's doing them a favor. Right? That's not doing them a favor. So Prahlad Maharaj was fixed in this kind of consciousness. He was a kind friend even to his father who was trying to kill him. I mean, it's one thing to be a friend to people we don't know or people who are different than us, and it's another thing to be a friend to someone who's trying to hurt us or kill us. That seems like it's a pretty difficult thing to do, doesn't it? Who would like to do that? Usually we shy away from those people or want to attack them back, or if you attack them first, that's even worse. So we have some other devotees that either were on this position or they achieved this position by doing some kind of devotional service. Maharaj Ambarish had invited Durvasa Muni, and he was supposed to break his fast, so he drank some water. And Durvasa Muni was mad because he was taking meal before he got there, so he cursed him. But the curse kept chasing Durvasa Muni instead. And Maharaj Ambarish just sat there patiently waiting while Durvasa ran all over trying to get forgiveness in other places. And he went to God, and God told him, no, you have to go back to Ambarish and ask him to forgive you. You can't ask me to forgive you. I heard there was one person that said, hey, where's the money you owe me? He says, well, I asked Jesus to forgive me. The person said, well, you should have borrowed it from Jesus then. So people think that I can mistreat you and I've asked Jesus to forgive me, or I ask Krishna to forgive me. That's okay? Or do I have to go back to you? I can't just ask Jesus to forgive me? No, people think that way though. So this is the way that some of the people are thinking in retribution with this. So we see some devotees like this were mistreated, like Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas. They went through great tribulation. There was 5 Pandavas, Yudhisthira, Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, and Sahadev. And they were mistreated by their uncle. I had an uncle like Dhritarashtra. They were mistreated by their uncle. He wanted to have them killed because when their father Pandu died, they were supposed to run the kingdom. But he wanted to run it and have his sons run it who weren't qualified, especially because he was blind. So he tried everything he could. And yet Kunti Devi said to Krishna that we went through so many difficulties, but whenever those difficulties are there, you appeared. He says, therefore I pray that these difficulties come again and again. Now generally we don't pray for more difficulties, but what an exalted position to be asking for difficulties. So she prayed for that, even though she and the Pandavas went through these troubles. Arjuna went through his dilemma, but what did he do? Because he didn't want to fight his family members. Sometimes he's one of the Pandavas. Sometimes we're in a situation where we're sort of in a dilemma. And when Krishna drove him on the chariot, here it is, out into the battlefield, he says, behold the Kurus, who were his cousins on the other side, because he knew that Arjuna would not want to fight against his own cousins, and that he would be perplexed by this. So then Arjuna became despondent and said, I don't want to fight, and yet it was his duty to rule the kingdom for Krishna. So Krishna listened to all of it, and then he said, a wise man does not lament for the living or the dead. And then when Arjuna reached his moment of despair, they call it the dark night of the soul, he says, Krishna, I am a soul surrendered unto you. So when the difficulties happen, and it causes us to surrender to Krishna, then we become dear to Krishna. And we see the world was becoming strange with COVID and then war in Ukraine and economic and electrical conditions and things going on. I was wondering why internet didn't work sometimes and work to others. But it's just like a Krishna consciousness. It only works when you're applying it, right? Just like the light. If I didn't turn on the switch, it won't go on. But the lights will go on if we have a generator, but the internet tower is down. So the wife of the Pandavas, Draupadi, they lost her in a gambling match. This is why we don't gamble. And the Kurus were going to disrobe her in the whole assembly. And so what she did, kind of a balanced program. She reached out to Krishna with one hand, and with the other hand, she held on to the sari. That's the best way. It's like they say, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Do keep them in different things. And so she was reaching out to Krishna with one hand, and with the other hand, she was holding on to the sari, but it was starting to come loose. Then she just totally surrendered to Krishna and let up both hands, and Krishna started supplying more sari. He became the sari. So as they pulled it off, it just kept coming more and more and more and more and more, and yet they weren't able to disrobe her. So by totally surrendering to Krishna, she was able to achieve this position. Instead of being envious with them, she fixed her mind and intelligence on Krishna, like it says here in the verse. And because she did that, she was able to get Krishna's mercy completely. We find this in other stories too. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have his deity on the altar there. In Laguna Beach, we have the whole Panchatattva, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Gadadhar, and Srivas Thakur. And Chaitanya was the Yuga avatar, meaning he came in this age to spread the chanting of Hare Krishna all around India, and eventually he said it would be spread all around the world. It was a Prachiviteya Jayata Nargati Grama Pachada Chaya Chay Hoibe Mornam, that it will be spread to every town and village. And he predicted that a general, a Bhakta general, a devotee general would come and spread it all over the world. And obviously that's Srila Prabhupada. He went at an advanced age to all over the world. It's amazing how many times around the world, like 12 times he went to South America, because he stayed in each place a little bit and was always on the move. And they'd always try to fix up the temples. He says, everywhere I go, I smell fresh paint. Because they would paint it just before Prabhupada came. You know, so it's so Prabhupada had this consciousness. He came to America. When he first met his spiritual master, he immediately said, "You are an intelligent boy. You should spread this movement to the Western world in the English language." And he immediately accepted it as his life and soul. And so he came to America, and he was stayed with one boy named Paul who took LSD, and Paul threw him down the stairs. And a year later, when Paul came back, Prabhupada says, "Oh, my friend Paul is here." Now, most of us wouldn't think that way, would they? Now, the devotees wouldn't be happy if they had known this, right? Especially once big Brahmananda, if he'd seen someone try to push Prabhupada, he would definitely be very upset with that. And so we see that Prabhupada had this kind, that he was a kind friend to the whole world, that he traveled to everywhere and tried to preach Krishna consciousness. He didn't just try, he actually succeeded at it. But he would say, "What is this jet lag? I suffer from that." Like this trip to South Africa was the hardest to adjust of any trip ever, just because I came so quickly. But I hope you're happy that I came. Would you rather I just stayed home? So it's good I came, yes? That's good. It makes it worthwhile. So just like Prabhupada went at advanced age and did all this work after the age of 70. I'm 70 now, but I think I still have a few years left. I don't think my brain is rotting. I'm able to give a class, yes? I didn't forget what I was talking about, or who I'm talking to, or where I am. And so, as we were saying, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Nityananda, who is the incarnation of Balaram, his first expansion, he told him and Haridas Thakur to go into the village of Navadvip, and you knock on every door, and what you do is that you chant Krishna yourself and you worship Krishna, and you tell those people to chant Krishna, worship Krishna, and have other people worship Krishna, that they should go out and do it. Now, of course, when they went to the doors, they found some people who were distressed, so they were interested in learning about God. Some people were in need of financial help, so they would turn to God. Some people were just inquisitive, they would turn to God. And then you would find some people who were actually in search of knowledge of the absolute truth. And these people would take to the chanting. But to go through these people, you find people who are like the four kinds who don't surrender. The mudhas are the people who work hard just like an ass. They usually like to just work and get intoxicated. You'll find them at the bar late at night. The Naradamas have a good economic and social system, but they just do what everyone else does. Do what the Joneses do. We dress the latest style. And then some people have knowledge, but it's called Maya Prita Jnana. It's knowledge stolen by illusion. So they have knowledge about all the material things, but they don't have knowledge about the absolute truth. And then you have those who are out and out demoniac. And some of these people were suspicious. When Haridas Thakur and Nityananda came to their house, they thought, oh, you're just canvassing it here to try to steal something. People wouldn't think that way in South Africa, would they? If you knocked on their door, they wouldn't be suspicious that you're trying to steal something, would they? Does that happen sometimes? Yes? More often than not, yes? Yes. So they're afraid you're trying to give them Krishna consciousness, and they're afraid you're trying to take something. So they would try with all these people. They would try with anyone. This is something we are careful not to do because we're not the pure devotees. We worship God, we make friends with the devotees, we help the innocent, but we stay away from those who are antagonistic. But Nityananda saw this ruckus going on in the town square, and he said to someone, what's going on over there? Someone said, well, that's Jagai and Madai, and there are the most debauchees, and they will, if you criticize them, they'll burn your house down, they'll rape your wife, they'll steal from you, they'll attack you, so just stay away from them. Now, of course, Nityananda, being interested in dedicating his life to the mission of spreading Hare Krishna everywhere, went to them and said, my dear sirs, please chant Hare Krishna. And they immediately got mad because they were drunk. Drunk people get mad easily. And so they chased Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur says, a fine mess you got us into this time. And so they couldn't catch them, though, because they were too drunk and too fat from eating too much meat. So the next day they saw them. And wouldn't you know, instead of thinking, well, we'll neglect those people, we hate them, they were mean to us, right? The children say, hey, they're mean to me. They're mean to you, then you never talk to them again, right? But instead, they went over to them and says, we'll give you another chance. We want you to chant the holy name of Krishna. And Madai hit Nityananda with a clay pot. And Nityananda says, I don't care that you've hurt my body. He said, I just want you to chant the holy names. And Jagai says, look what you've done to this saintly person. And Lord Chaitanya came, and he was ready to kill them. But Nityananda says, no. Our business in this age is to deliver the demoniac people, not to kill them. And so they said, yes, we'll surrender. And they started chanting many rounds a day, I think 128. And what they'd offended so many people, and just like Durvasa Muni had to, so they had to go back to Ambarish because they've offended so many people. They wondered, how can we fix and make amends with all these people? So Nityananda suggested that what they do is build a ghat by the Ganges River. The ghat is like a little spot where you can walk down with stairs and get to it. This is like a foot ghat, not a boat ghat. That's the same idea, right? And what you do then is you take the people's shoes and you keep the ghat clean. That way all the people who come, when all the townspeople come there, this was your way of making amends to the people that you hurt, was by creating a facility for all of them to come and use the Ganges River and do it comfortably. So we find that because they were given the devotee association, they were able to take to Krishna consciousness. And because Prabhupada himself, our spiritual master, said that if you cannot repay the debt to the spiritual master, but if you at all want to try, then you preach vigorously like I am doing. And so if we try to preach vigorously, then we can please the spiritual master. This can go just from inviting friends to the temple, going to distribute books. You can set up a table somewhere. How did you do books in the marathon? Did you ever set up tables anywhere? Yeah. Sometimes that's easy for people. People who know how to stop people can do it. But for new people, if you have a table with books, you can get people to come over and look at them and explain them. And people who are really good distribute thousands of them. But if we can at least do something and try, then we're pleasing Krishna. Because that's the idea. We please by the effort. It doesn't matter how much that we do. It matters that we do the best to our capacity. And that's pleasing to Krishna. My capacity is not so great. As we see, we have such revered people, like some of them are alive and some of them gone, like Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Charu Swami, and we have ones that are here like Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, and in India we have Jayapataka Swami and Radhanath Swami, and sometimes Giriraj Swami is there, and we have Gopal Krishna Swami, and we have people who are great saintly people. But at least if we do something, Prabhupada will be pleased. It's just like when I came here with a Swami in September 2nd of 72. And he left after a few months. And I was all alone. So I wrote to Prabhupada that Rishi Kumar had left me here alone and that I would continue to distribute books because I knew if I left, no one else would want to come if two people left. Plus, if the books were there and they were lost, anybody who started would start out with a debt. And they'd rather start out. I wanted to make sure that at least I was going to sell enough books to pay off the debt. And my parents had come and visited before and left us a car. So I left a car and a contact and all these things I had set up in case I get thrown out of the country, because I had to be there illegally. They asked me to leave, but I couldn't leave because otherwise, if I couldn't get back in, it would be hard for someone else to get there and continue from there. So when I wrote this to Prabhupada, the letter came back and it started with, "I'm very much pleased at the responsibility you've taken to spread Krishna consciousness in South Africa at such a young age." So I'm not like the Swamis we recommended. I was married and had children. I had one children pass away, and I have two children that are 47 and 44, and grandchildren 31 and 4 and 7, and a great-granddaughter who's going to turn 6 on the 27th. My daughter had them so early and my son so late that I'm closer in age to my granddaughter than he is to his son. And my great-granddaughter will be 3 years older than my grandson. So this is the things that happen. So that is the essence. By acting as Krishna wants here, we please Krishna. And by trying to preach vigorously, we please Srila Prabhupada. So I hope that gave you something. There's others who can give more, but I hope it was something from the well of Krishna consciousness. It's actually like an ocean without shores. Are there any questions or comments? Corrections? Somebody must have something. Yes. 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 Well, we have to just keep trying. We keep up with, when we see people, we try to be friendly to them for Krishna. And that helps us not become envious. And we may not be able to chant 64 or 128 rounds or 194. Just like since I've had some health challenges here, I've only done 20 to 40 rounds a day. But it's still more because my mission here, so I mentioned that to Bhakti Chaitanya this morning. He says, yes, he agrees, because here, my mission is to come and talk to you. I still have to do the basic, right? And I have some health issues that we're straightening out. And then the mission is to meet with you and talk about Krishna consciousness, share some of the experience I've had, give some philosophical understanding, help people understand what their issues are and try to get through them. And then at least just make friends with people. And like in my own case, then I may not be as great as some of the others, but I at least try to do something consistently. You do the rounds consistently, you do some reading, you have a devotional attitude consistently, and you try to start with, maybe you're not at pure devotion, but you're at a level where you're dedicated in your service. You try to continue whatever dedication you have. Yes, our new person. What is it? Well, then you're in a relationship with Krishna, and the difference is that God can appear in many forms, but in the form of Krishna, he almost lets us forget that he's God, and in that form, he lets you think like he's your friend, or he's your child, and so that's why it takes a great degree of devotion, because God only gives himself to someone who's given themselves to him. He doesn't just give themselves to anyone. Thank you. Something more? Artika's in a few minutes. Where's Elenath? Oh, there you are. You're right there, aren't you? You're looking around like... Well, the thing that's good here is I see, I had some difficulties with COVID. No one could come. And with 4 years ago, I think you had a bigger crowd. Why is there a smaller crowd now? People aren't used to coming? What is it? Load shedding. That's why. Yeah, I was wondering why the phone wouldn't work, because I can use my phone on the internet, but otherwise it doesn't work. But is because people haven't been as used to coming? When were the festivals? How many came then? Yes. You had a tent outside too? But everybody knows John Mastami too, don't they? They don't even have to be informed of. Yes? Why was it so big last Sunday? What is it? Oh, New Year's Day. Oh. I was in Cape Town, but I should have been here, huh? Who gave the talk then? Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, see, it's better him than me. But it's, Artika's in a minute or so here. So maybe, I guess it's good I'm here now, because at least we have a good crowd, don't we? Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Kshudi Prabhu, for that most inspiring class. And yes, we do appreciate you, and we are very happy that you are here with us.
Thank you.
Devotees, today's love feast is prepared by the Food for Life team. A friendly reminder that prasadam will only be served between 1 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. at the White Marquee. We are all very keen, very eager to have prasadam, but please remember that there will be no serving at the bottom Food for Life kitchen prior to or after these times. Also, we do require assistance in the serve-out team, so in this regard, please contact Doyal Chaitanya Prabhu. Devotees, something certainly enlightening to look forward to. So save the date, 21st of January, The Art of Krishna Conscious Parenting. This will be a 2-session workshop presented by Her Grace Aruda Devi Dasi, and it will take place here at our temple. So keep an eye on social platforms because further details will be shared there. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti